In this video, we are going to do one-step inequalities by adding and subtracting, meaning the only inverse operation we're going to use is adding and subtracting. So adding to subtracting is the only inverse operation in this lesson, okay? Now, our goal here is still the same. We still want to get our variable by itself. So we want to get, in this first question, we want to get g by itself. We want to know all the possibilities that will make this statement true for g. So what we're going to do is, if it helps, to envision your inequality sign to still be your equal sign. Now, I wouldn't write it, but just envision it, okay? And we want to get the g by itself. In order to get the g by itself, we have right now g minus 2. So to undo that subtracting 2, what we're going to do to both sides is add 2. Okay? And our inequality, our negative 2 and plus 2 cancel, leaving g. And we are left with less than or equal to negative 6. Now for this part, you can use your calculator if it helps to get your number. So it said to solve. This was the solve part. So we solved, and our answer was g has to be less than or equal to negative 6. And then we have to graph. So we have to draw our line for our number line. And I'm going to put negative 6 right in the middle. Now my rule of thumb is 2 more, 2 less, and it should be a pretty good graph. The integer more than negative 6 is negative 7. Nope, just kidding. Negative 5 and then negative 4. A smaller integer from negative 6 is negative 7 and then negative 8. Remember, in the negatives, our numbers go in the opposite direction. Then we look at our symbol here. Our symbol has or equal to, meaning g is allowed to be negative 6. So I'm going to put a closed circle on negative 6. And since it is less than, I'm going to go to the left. Okay? Let's go to 2. Number 2, I see m minus 3. So in order to undo that minus 3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. When I add 3 to both sides, this cancels, leaving m is greater than negative 21. Okay, so that is the answer to our inequality. M has to be bigger than negative 21. So any positive number will work, 0 will work, and all the numbers from 0 to negative 21, but not including negative 21. So a better way to represent that would be on our number line. And I'm going to draw a number line here. Your number line has to have arrows. I'm going to put negative 21 right in the middle. This is negative 20, negative 19, negative 22, negative 23. This time, m cannot be negative 21. So we have an open circle on negative 21. And since it has to be greater, all of these numbers are greater. If you're having a tough time wondering which direction your arrow goes in, you can always test some numbers. So I would test one on each side. Is negative 22 bigger than negative 21? No. Is negative 20 bigger than negative 21? Yes. So that has to be the way your arrow goes. Okay. Oops. All right. Get that back. And scrolling down, we have a lot of questions here. We are going to look at a word problem. The weight of a loaded dump truck is less than 75,000 pounds. Because there has to be a limit, right? So this is like a limit, less than 75,000 pounds. When empty, the truck weighs 32 pounds, so with nothing in it. Write and solve an inequality to find out how much the load can weigh. So we have the empty truck, so 32, our truck altogether, with stuff, without stuff, empty, it has to be, no matter what, less than, not or equal to, 75,000 pounds. Strictly less than, okay? So we have, if we want to map it out, our empty truck plus if we put stuff in it has to be less than 75,000 pounds. All right. We're writing an equation to find out how much the load can weigh. How much stuff can we put in it? So let's define our variable. I'm going to define our variable as x. What we can put in, the load, the weight of the load, okay? So all the stuff, that is basically all the stuff that has to be put in. So the load plus just the truck, the empty truck, without anything in it, has to be less than or equal to 75,000 pounds. Okay, so how much can we put in? So here is our inequality. Okay, here is our inequality. It's like writing the equation, but it's not an equation because it's not an equal sign. So we call it the inequality. That is the inequality. Now we're going to use inverse operations to solve our inequality. So we are going to subtract 32,000 on both sides. And then x has to be less than $43,000 pounds. So our final answer here is the load can weigh 43,000 pounds or less, because it doesn't have to be 43,000 pounds. The chances of it being exact is probably slim, but it could be less than that. Anything less than that, it could be decimal pounds, okay?